Have we managed to capture them? We are currently being confronted with sensational headlines claiming that NASA has just detected a bright carpet of city lights on an alien planet. However, what is the truth behind these sensational claims? Has humanity's oldest question, whether we are truly alone in the universe, finally been answered with absolute certainty, or would it be wiser for us to treat such reports with a healthy dose of skepticism? If there is a highly developed alien civilization out there, it must have left a technical fingerprint. As part of an astrophysics study, 2 researchers from the University of Nottingham made headlines not long ago when they revealed that there may be a whopping 36 advanced alien civilizations, and that's just in our local Milky Way, mind you. If the development of intelligent life on other planets takes as long as it does on Earth, then there should be at least a few dozen advanced alien races sleeping in our galactic neighborhood. However, if these theoretical considerations actually correspond to reality, where are our extraterrestrial contemporaries? Well, this is a conundrum that experts have been pondering for many years, but more on that later. Westby and Keisha explained the mysterious absence of the aliens by pointing out that the vast distances between the various civilizations, after all, they are on average 17,000 light-years apart. Viewpoint. There appears to be a celestial body out there that might provide us with information about our hidden neighbors, despite the fact that the light-year unit of length specifies the precise distance that light can travel in a vacuum in a year, which is 9.46 trillion kilometers. Despite the great distances in astronomical circles, the enigmatic object, known as KIC 84628552, is more commonly known as Tabby Star. It is situated in the constellation Swan, some 1,470 light-years from our planet. Despite having 1.4 times the mass of the Sun and shining 5 times brighter, the Tabby Star is gaining attention from experts mainly because of one unique phenomenon. It frequently experiences sharp variations in brightness that completely upend established patterns and leave us unable to comprehend the home system of an extraterrestrial civilization. As part of this indirect detection technique, the transit method has shown itself to be a true guarantee of success in the hunt for new planets in the deepest regions of space. Researchers are able to reveal not only the existence of a planetary companion but also some of its fundamental characteristics, such as the planetary radius orbital period and orbital inclination from 2009 to 2003. Experts concentrate on the periodic changes in brightness that a planet causes as it passes by its parent star in this manner. The Kepler Space Telescope took a close look at around 150,000 stars to examine them for telltale fluctuations in brightness with success. Kepler was ultimately able to add over 2,300 new exit planets to the star maps. However, we now know of a total of 5,580 planetary worlds that orbit a host star other than the Sun. However, the planet hunters were able to make another far stranger discovery at the time, and as you can probably guess, it involved Tabby Star, which henceforth earned the title the strangest star in the universe. And for good reason. Tabby Star repeatedly experiences brief dips in brightness, which at first glance are reminiscent of planetary transit, but in stark contrast occur completely irregularly. In the most extreme cases, the star loses almost a quarter of its luminosity, and we know of no planet, no matter how gigantic, that could accomplish this anywhere else in the universe. Just as mysterious as the intensity is the time frame of these events. On one occasion, the star's brightness reduced by 16% within a single day, only to climb back to its initial value the next day. In other cases, however, Tabby Star then took much longer to shine in its original splendor. But how can these mysterious phenomena be explained? Well, the most exciting and controversial theory is based on the idea that we are dealing with the work of an extraterrestrial civilization, with colossal artificial constructs that serve to harness as much stellar energy as possible. One such megastructure is known in detail as the Dyson sphere, but so far it only exists in science fiction. In fact, this crazy concept has not just been around since yesterday. It was described back in 1960 by the physicist Hand Dyson in the journal Science. The assumption was that at some point, A highly developed alien civilization would need all the energy of its host star, and what could be more obvious than enveloping the radiant celestial body with oversized solar panels and transforming it into a gigantic solar power plant? So are the aliens currently building a Dyson sphere around Tabby Star? It's undisputed that this explanation sounds extremely spectacular, but it's also undisputed that it has a big catch. According to our current state of knowledge, the covering of such a construct would also be accompanied by an additional infrared component, which has not yet been detected in the case of Tabby Star. And so it is that most experts prefer to turn to other somewhat more natural explanations. Among other things, the peculiar brightness dips are likely to be caused by comet fragments or dust rings, but the Tabby Star may potentially be considerably younger than previously believed, and still contain an accretion disk of gas and dust. Another theory is that the star may have swallowed a planet, and the debris from the collision may have made the celestial body appear fainter from our perspective than it actually is. However, it should be noted that even theories that are far removed from Dyson spheres and extraterrestrial life cannot yet be proven, so things appear a little clearer in the case of the artificial city lights that the James Webb Telescope recently detected on the surface of Proxima Centauri b. This is hardly surprising given that the celestial body is the closest exoplanet to Earth, only 4 light-years away, and has an Earth similarity index of 87, making it possible to confidently describe it as Earth's cosmic twin. With this information in mind, it seemed like it was only a matter of time until Webb the telltale signatures of our extraterrestrial neighbors, ending all debates about the existence of aliens once and for all, to be honest. However, the revolutionary discovery of the century also has one tiny caveat. It never happened despite all the lurid headlines. We are simply dealing with the extreme distortion of another discovery, which is actually extremely exciting in itself. Basically, however, we don't even know at present whether Proxima Centauri b is habitable at all. The planet is divided into a scorching hot day side and a freezing cold night side. If at all, life could only have developed there in the temperate twilight zone. However, this would require a stable atmosphere about whose existence and possible composition we still have no information. It is true that the James Webb Telescope has detected a mysterious light phenomenon on the alien celestial body, but it is neither an artificially illuminated alien metropolis nor a planet in reality. W1935 is a brown dwarf, and therefore an object that astronomers also refer to as a failed star. Although brown dwarfs are larger than planets, they are still too small and too old to be classified as stars because they lack the mass to fuse hydrogen in their cores at the same time. However, Webb has recently found an infrared emission of methane in the W1935 regions, which has left scientists with a significant conundrum. The reason for this is that the brown dwarf is cold and lacks a host star, which means it has no energy source that could heat up its upper atmosphere and cause the methane to glow. Terrestrial auroras are caused by the interaction of electrically charged solar wind particles with oxygen and nitrogen atoms in the upper layers of the atomic sphere. However, since there isn't a nearby star that could cause the prancing light, NASA experts believe that the aurora is formed by an internal process. In particular, the researchers have noticed a so-called temperature inversion in the celestial body's atmosphere. The reason for this temperature inversion, however, has not yet been found. The first object without an external heat source on which this phenomenon has been observed is W1935. If you are an alien, please let us know in the comments. If not, we have no choice but to face the sobering fact that, despite all the strange UFO footage and purported insider information, we have not yet succeeded in proving the existence of extraterrestrial life. However, in addition to the scientists' initial statements, many other experts are now convinced that we are not alone in the universe. Despite receiving the infamous WOW signal and sending multiple messages into space on board space probes, we have not yet officially found anything. This is a very perplexing situation, which the Italian physicist Enrio Ferri summed up as early as 1950 with the question, "Where is everyone?" However, reality presents a very different picture, and experts have been working to solve the Fermi paradox for nearly 75 years. The first attempt at an explanation seems almost unbelievable, given the dazzling diversity of the cosmos. If there were truly highly developed alien civilizations in the Milky Way, they would have had more than enough time to colonize half the galaxy, or at least leave clear signs of their existence. As mentioned, Earth is actually the only planet on which life has flourished. Then there are the distances mentioned at the beginning, which make contact impossible in practice and in theory, that each civilization is at most capable of colonizing its direct neighboring systems within a limited radius. Furthermore, some experts are of the opinion that technological advancement is always a ride on the racer's edge, and sooner or later ends in the self-extinction of a civilization. Possible causes of extinction include uncontrollable greenhouse effects, genetically manipulated pathogens, and devastating wars of annihilation. However, it is also possible that our hidden neighbors are not all that interested in making themselves known, simply because they are aware of the dangers lurking in the vastness of space. In detail, hostile species could actively try to wipe out other civilizations in order to eliminate potential enemies or competitors for resources to avoid being caught in the crosshairs of the brutal invaders. Most civilizations would therefore do everything in their power to remain undetected for as long as possible in the case of humanity. However, this train has unfortunately already left the station. We've already sent a lot of basic information about Earth and its inhabitants into space, and can probably only hope that it doesn't fall into the wrong alien hands. At the same time, we also hope that your hands will now reach the subscribe button. We'd love you to become part of our community and never miss another exciting video from us.